Welcome back to the channel. So big changes are coming to the trucking world and it will affect especially many immigrant truck drivers. On June 25th, the FMCSA will begin enforcing old English proficiency rules that could sideline drivers and cost states millions in federal fundings. Question is Texas ready or is this a legal collision waiting to happen? And let me clarify this. Right now in Texas, and I did not know that, you can actually get a commercial driver's license without proving you speak or read English. Show up, you get a CDL. And that's because state law under Texas Transportation Code 522-043B says intrastate CDL drivers, meaning in-state, don't have to pass an English test. And it's been that way for many years. But that's actually in direct conflict with federal law, which says commercial drivers must be able to read and speak English well enough to understand road signs, communicate with the officers, and keep proper mileage logs. But starting June 25th, the FMCSA is enforcing a long dormant rule that says if driver can prove English proficiency during a roadside inspection, they can be placed out of service on the spot. And that rule, again, is not new. It's just finally being enforced again after years of prior administration's neglect. But here's the kicker. Texas has not filed an exemption and says it will continue issuing CDLs to non-English speaking drivers for intrastate travel, again, meaning within the state, not crossing state lines. So what happens when state law and federal rules clash? I mean, the feds might not like that. Texas receives millions in federal highway enforcement funds, actually through a program called FMCSA. But to qualify, our state has to enforce all federal safety rules. They have to play by the rules. And if Texas refuses to test for English proficiency, the FMCSA could technically pull that funding. Now, that would cripple enforcement programs in the state and put even more pressure on local carriers and truckers. And this has sparked major debate across online forums, Reddit, Facebook, and other driver communities. And many of truckers are saying that, again, this rule is not new. It's just finally being enforced. And everybody's surprised why people are freaking out like it's a brand new rule. No, it's not. Now, some others comment that now the difference between passing and failing is going to be up to some officer's opinion, which it'll be interesting to see how they determine your English proficiency. And again, something that's going to be great. Some are blaming CVSA, but FMCSA is just as much to blame too. Why issue CDLs to people who cannot understand road signs? I mean, that's some of the comments on Truckers Report. And some others comment that there is corruption in the testing system, and that's the real issue, and it's not whether a guy can read. I mean, it's just how the system works. And some truckers say this is a good thing, enforcing the rule, bringing back accountability. Some others think it's all smoke and mirrors to distract from real problems like poor training, unsafe dispatching, and some sketchy carriers, which that's part of the industry. And if you drive interstate, the rule is clear. You must pass the English proficiency check. And that includes reading aloud a statement from a standard card and identifying basic road signs. What about the intrastate only drivers in Texas? They'll be exempt from that. And those drivers are technically safe under state law. They're not breaking any law. But then again, how do you prove that your operations never cross state lines? It's going to be a hard one. And what happens if a roadside officer is not convinced, whether you're a fleet owner, a dispatcher, or driver? You have to pay attention to what's coming, especially in Texas. You'll have to confirm which of your drivers are intrastate versus interstate. Get that in writing, keep that in your company document, audit your logs and routes. And if anything crosses state lines, even once, you need to be in compliance. So you need English-speaking drivers. Train drivers on English check. Make sure they're able to read and speak. Know what questions will be asked. Keep documentation handy during inspections. Show proof of intrastate only status when needed, if that's the case. And this could become a much bigger issue, especially if the FMCSA decides to withhold funding from Texas. That would trigger lawsuits, pressure lawmakers, and potentially reshape state licensing rules. So what's the bottom line here? Enforcement is coming. June 25th, it's already happening. And even if your state lets something slide, the feds might not. So what do you think? Should Texas be able to issue CDLs without English test? Or is that just a ticking time bomb for safety and legal liability? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like this video. Subscribe if you like the content. We always update on latest news, trucking laws, FMCSA news, and real driver stories. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.